Um, Thank you all so much for coming and for finding this room, which was a little bit confusing to find. This is 5 tips to optimize AI prompts for architects. My name is Brenda Glasser. And thank you, of course, to all of the wonderful sponsors who helped to pay for all of this event, because this is a community-driven event. So without all of these wonderful sponsors, we would not all be here today. So if you have not had a chance to go and check them out and get some more information, then please do so down in the expo hall. Before we get started, a little bit about me. So I have been doing Salesforce 13-ish years. I don't totally know when I started, but I know it was before my daughter was born, and she's 13, so that's what we go with. I am a director and Salesforce architect at a company called Ripple, which is in the Web3 crypto space, and so that's why you see this weird NFT picture that I have of myself, because that's kind of one of the fun things that you get. I am a 24-time certified application and system architect. I am from Atlanta, so I am not from the UK, as you can probably tell. So I help co-lead the Atlanta Architect Trailblazer community group. And then just about me, I'm a mom, I have 2 kids, they're 17 and 13. I love animals, I have a dog and 2 cats. And hobbies, I like books, cooking, and baking. So I just put some pictures so you can see my kitties and my doggy and all that kind of stuff. So that's a little about me. I also talk a lot of trash on Twitter, so if you want to follow me, it's at Brenda Glasser. So it's easy to find me. I'm also on LinkedIn, although I rarely post. So today's session is really less about Salesforce AI specific and more just around how you as a Salesforce architect, or really anybody working in the in any kind of Salesforce role, so admin, developer, BA, project manager, et cetera, just some kind of best practices for leveraging generative AI to help do your job better. So we're going to focus on 5 areas. So those are design and planning, implementation, integration and data, optimization, and learning. And just another kind of fun tip that I discovered when I was preparing this presentation is if you are a person like me who is really bad at making slides, trying to get your ideas into a pretty PowerPoint, these images were actually also generated by AI. So in preparing for the presentation, I just said, hey, make me a thumbnail for this. And then it spit me out these cool images. So not really part of how to be, use it for Salesforce-y stuff, but just in general for making slides that look cool and polished and kind of pretty. That's also a fun thing that you can do. So kind of what we'll do is we'll kind of go through each of these different pillars for how you can leverage AI as a Salesforce architect and some of the ways that I use it in my day-to-day job. So the first area is design and planning. So really you can leverage the AI tools that are out there. So obviously ChatGPT or Bard or the other ones that are kind of popping up to help you when you are starting the design and planning for a new project or for an implementation, or you need to deliver a specific bit of functionality. So it can really help you to, give you a good head start and help develop your thinking around things like a high-level solution architecture, evaluate products and how they meet your business requirements. So this is a really great way if you have a new piece of functionality that you need to deliver, and maybe it's something new, maybe it's something that you don't have direct experience with. There's obviously a lot of different partners and vendors and out there that can help you to deliver on your requirements, and whether that is a Salesforce product or something from the App Exchange or any other third-party products that your company may be evaluating or that you need to evaluate in order to determine if it will help you to meet your requirements. Leveraging generative AI to help get you a head start on understanding kind of the key features, the key considerations is a really great use case for that. Impact analysis, again, new features or applications. So if you are going to be integrating a new application, like what are the things that you as an architect need to consider in thinking through that implementation, thinking through the risks, thinking through scalability, like all of the different things that we need to think about. So when you're leveraging AI to help you with this, you want to be specific and detailed. So the more detail that you can provide, the better results that you're going to get. So I have an example. So an example prompt that I might use would be to analyze the potential impacts of implementing Salesforce Shield on an existing custom Salesforce architecture, and I want it to consider aspects such as system performance, user experience, and data integrity. So if I pop this into OpenAI or ChatGPT or any of the other ones out there, it might give me something like this. So it helps me to really quickly get kind of a good list going of, all right, like I need to, obviously I probably know that if I'm implementing Salesforce Shield, I have some, needs for more robust security, encryption capabilities than are provided by the platform natively. So it's going to help give me a summary of the impact of those. So if I encrypt these fields, then what's going to happen to my users that leverage that information? What's going to happen maybe to integrations that I need to think through when I apply this more robust encryption capability to my platform? How is it going to handle performance? So again, it just really quickly gives me a good summary of what are the things that I really need to think through as I'm planning out a Shield implementation, for example. Cool. And I'm keeping an eye on the clock. All right. So the next pillar that we're going to talk about is implementation. So when I'm thinking through, hey, I've got this business requirement to go and deliver this new functionality. So I maybe want to think about, well, what kind of data model updates am I going to do? Like, where do I want to think about custom objects and fields, some automation, whether that's examples of automation that maybe will help me, or leveraging AI to help me understand automation best practices, and also getting a head start on documentation. I know documentation can sometimes be not everybody's favorite thing to do. Most of us struggle to make sure that we're doing it diligently, and that can sometimes be a hard thing to do. So the great thing about leveraging some of these AI tools is it helps you to get a good head start on that documentation. So that way you're not just sitting there typing out a Google Doc or a Confluence page for 45 minutes. You can kind of get some pre-baked text, if you will, and then you just are really customizing that to fit whatever your use case is. The kind of tip that I would provide here in leveraging AI for kind of new implementation considerations would be to ask for best practices, right? So I want to think about things like scalability, flexibility, reliability, how am I going to maintain that, as well as what are my goals and objectives for that. So my example is if my requirement is I'm looking to create project requirement summary and benefit statements for Salesforce Experience Cloud implementation focused on customer service, case deflection, customer self-service, and chat support. So again, if I am now going to go and potentially sell this to my leadership of we have a business requirement to meet these needs, this is a great thing as well that I can use to summarize the project. You get some benefit statements that I can then use when I'm having those conversations, and again, helps me with my documentation, helps me with kind of understanding what these capabilities are, and really just allows me to get a good summary with just putting in a helpful prompt with what I'm trying to do. Again, being really specific for what your use case is. I would get different results if I just said tell me about Salesforce Experience Cloud. It'll give me a summary of what it is and what it can do and all that sort of stuff, but that's not really what I'm trying to get out of it. I'm trying to get these more detailed examples based on my particular requirements that I'm trying to fulfill. Cool. Moving on. The next place that this can be really, really helpful is when you're thinking through integrations and data requirements. So when I am, thinking through, hey, we have a need to integrate to a third-party platform, to, it could be something that was custom developed by my company. What are the different strategies that I could potentially leverage in that integration? What are the different integration platforms? Maybe if I want to leverage something like a MuleSoft or some kind of middleware, what are the different integration patterns that I might want to consider to meet my use case, and what would be the best one? Integration diagrams is also something that you can leverage AI to help you generate, which I think is really cool. Data migration planning. So if I am, doing, which I've had to do a lot of them in my lifetime, like org consolidations, or, hey, we bought a company and now we need to, grab their CRM and migrate all their stuff in, or anywhere where I need to think through my data migration strategies, another great use case here, and then API design for external applications. So I would say my pro tip here, which is something I learned when creating this presentation that I didn't know that you could do, is that you can prompt for diagrams and not just text readouts. So if I go into ChatGPT and I tell it to build a diagram showing an integration between Salesforce, SAP with MuleSoft as a middleware, and kind of what do I want to see? So I'm telling it you should show me order management workflow, including Salesforce account opportunity and order records, and then this is what it gives me. So again, I think that is really, really cool. I do think it is fun to create diagrams. I am frequently playing around in Lucidchart and stuff. But if I just want something, kind of quick to get me started, I think this is something that for me was oh wow, I did not know that it could do this. So it's pretty cool. I'm also a big Seinfeld fan, so that's why you see that. So, alrighty. The next area that we're going to talk about is optimization. So it is one thing to build a solution. It is another thing to make sure that you are optimizing it in the best possible way, again, for scalability, maintainability, reliability, etc. So what I might want to do is put in some prompts that are specific for, performance tuning. So, hey, I have this use case. What can I do to ensure that my solution is running in the best possible way? So that could be for things like speed. If I build something one way versus another, I'm going to have potentially some performance considerations of it's just going to take longer to process those transactions, and is that something that I really need to think about and worry about based on my requirements. Security, so leveraging some of the tools, AI tools that are out there to help make sure that especially like any custom code or anything that I am developing is as secure as possible. And so like help me scan for different vulnerabilities that I might have in my code, something really important. And then debugging Apex code. So maybe you're a baby developer like me and you like want to, you're trying to figure out, well, what maybe is not working in my code. Maybe I want to leverage, of course, I know a really common use case for AI is now actually to help write the code for me. So that is also, of course, an option that is out there for you. And so what I would say here, especially in terms of kind of optimizing what you're building and making sure that you're doing it in the best possible way, I can't say enough about the Salesforce well-architected framework. So using some of the terminology and the ideas that you will find in the well-architected framework are really going to help you to build your prompts and make sure that you are feeding those sorts of concepts into what you get out of it. So what you put in is really going to determine what you get out. So if you have not ever gone to the well-architected or the just architect.salesforce in general is an amazing resource. The well-architected framework really guides around best practices for all of these, different considerations. There's just a lot of really great content there. So, make sure that you bookmark that if you have not been to that site before. Okay. The next thing is really just around continuous learning. So we all probably know that Salesforce does 3 releases a year, and that's on the core platform. Some of the other products get more frequent releases. So I know for me, just keeping up with what's in each release and what do I really need to know about, where do I need to potentially, if features are being maybe retired, stuff like that. So getting those kind of release overviews and impact analysis is a great use case here. I kind of mentioned it before, right? But learning about new features and applications is just another really great thing that you can do. You can kind of pop in, tell me how, any one of the sponsors, right? So, tell me how GearSet works with Salesforce. Like you can put those things in there and kind of learn about how these tools work and really speeds up not just your evaluation of those particular tools or services in terms of the features and what you are maybe looking to implement at your company, but also just for your own learning. So if you are preparing for a certification exam, this is another great place that you can leverage some of this stuff in order to help you just get good summaries about these things. Another thing that I think is really important is just kind of general industry best practices. I think if you are, especially if you are working in consulting, where you might be working on different projects that get assigned to you. And it may not be, you might work with a new customer that is in an industry that you have no idea, really anything about that industry. You don't have any direct experience. You don't really know, what are some of the typical challenges that industry might be facing, both kind of from an economic perspective, but also just from a, what are some of the things that, people in that industry, really deal with. So I know I haven't been consulting for a few years, but I had a project with Michelin tires. I don't know anything. Other than I know what tires are, I don't know anything about the tire industry. I had a project with a big like medical device manufacturer where we were building out these like really, really complicated things in Salesforce for their tracking of like orthopedic surgical tools, so like knee replacement kits and like all of the different screws and like all of the stuff. And I was like, I have no idea, right? So like I think if you are consulting, if you're starting a new job, anything like that, this can be just a really great way that you can just kind of tune in, understand like what are some of the things that industry is facing, and that will help you to better align with your customer, with your end users. You can of course use this for not just industries, but like roles. So if you have never worked in a retail setting, like what's that like? We kind of have ideas, but different personas as well can really just help you to relate to your users, to your company, and just kind of set you on a good path to be able to speak intelligently about those things. So the kind of pro tip here that I would suggest would be to include what you want to learn in your prompt. So what are you looking for? Do you want a summary, an overview? Do you want practical examples? Do you want like instructions, like how-to guide for how do you do X, Y, Z? So that would be what I would say for continuous learning. And I think that's kind of all I have. So again, I know that this presentation was, intentionally just sort of general, just around like just some AI best practices and how you can, regardless of tooling or anything like that, like leverage some of these capabilities to, kind of help you in your day-to-day, help you with new project requirements, just help you get set up for success. So happy to help answer questions if I can. I don't pretend to be like an AI expert by any means, but if anybody has questions, I think we have like 2 minutes. So happy to take them, or if not, then yes.
I just wanted to know what's your experience around the implementation output, because in my experience, and I will now implement some of your best practices, but the implementation, ChatGPT, the implementation ideas were not good.
Was not good. Yeah, I mean, the thing I should say is like, none of this is like, don't just trust it as like perfect, right? So it'll give you stuff, but it may not be 100% accurate. It may not like tell you all of the considerations. And so like certainly, depending on like what you're looking for, like you do need to validate anything that it gives you, because it can be wrong. Like it makes stuff up. Like it's pulling, like it's only as good as the data it has. And so like if there's bad reference points out there that it's pulling from in order, like, so it's not perfect.
My experience was quite good.
Yeah.
Particularly in terms of implementation, it's just
Not the best. Yeah.
I don't think I didn't add to the prompt the details. Okay, follow the best practices and things like that. So I will try again with this tip.
Sure. Cool.
So just what I've seen is it does not say no. So if something is not possible, it's a flow. Say not possible. You just make it up.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah. I know that, that's actually good. I was trying to do, it's like so stupid. So like, I was doing an Experience Cloud implementation, and they were trying to not go with like a ton of custom components. So we were really trying to kind of stretch, which whether or not this is the best idea is debatable, but like really kind of trying to stretch what you can do with the standard components and the standard like themes and stuff from a like design perspective. And so you can go in the CSS stuff from the Experience Cloud and override some things. And I was trying to just do that to override like the login. But it was being really annoying. And so I was like, hey, how do I do this? And it just gave me like complete nonsense. I'm like, this is not, like, that didn't actually do what I needed it to do. But yeah.